Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur of Shalom. Welcome to everybody on YouTube channel and in Torah Anytime. We are learning now Bava Metzia. We are in Daf Tzadi Daled Amud Aleph, and more or less in the middle of the page, a little bit below the middle. Yeah, the line starts with the word Beshoel. That's where the line starts, with the word Beshoel, and then we have the question. Yeah, excuse me, Tana. Yeah. Tana. No, the line actually one line above starts with the word nafshe, and then what we have to learn now, what we're going to learn now, Amrit Hashem, is the word Tana. We're learning about what? About Tnoim, whether the four Shoimrim, Shemostocho, Shemachinam, Shoel, Stoicher, if those people, if they can make Tnoim conditions to change from the regular halachos that's imposed upon them from the Torah, by the Torah. Yeah, can a Shomer Chinam decide, I'll be a Shomer Chinam, but I'm making a condition that I will not take Shavua. So he said it's possible, generally speaking, it's possible. And now we're going to see another brisa about that possibility of different Shomrim to adopt different halachas, different to those written in the Torah. And we explained yesterday why it's not called Masnan Mashikosu B'Torah, right? The Torah itself gave us the flexibility to decide how much Ramachinam will do, how much he won't do, etc. Tana, it says in the Brisa, Umatan Eshomer Socho, Liois Keshoyel. Eshomer Socho can accept upon himself to be and do more than he's called, and be a shoyel. Meaning, what does that mean? Instead of just being chayiv v'gneva v'aveda, the Shomer Socho is now going to be chayiv like a shoyel, which means, really, min hadin, he doesn't have to pay in case of oines. But now that he says, probably encouraged by the Balabais, he says, I'm a Shomer Socho, however, I'm making it tonight to mechayiv myself more, to say that I'll be like a shoyel and I'll have to pay with what? Even in case of oines. So Shomer Socho may do that. Okay, why not? If he can remove the chiyuvim, obviously can add more. But the question is, yeah, now comes more the question. B'mai, b'dvorim. Question is as follows. How would a Shomer Socho become a shoyel? Is it b'dvorim, just by saying, I will be a shoyel, that alone will obligate him? Since when did we see that a person gives matanos, gives gifts, that's how the Rishonim explain, just by promising? In other words, if I come to you tomorrow and I say, I'm going to give you $1,000, that's very nice, I wish I could. But Lemaisa, nothing's really obligating me. It's just speech. It's nothing. So because of dvorim, because of speech without any kinyan, he's not mechayiv anybody. Why should be mechayiv the Shomer Socho to pay in case of oines? He's giving him a gift. Stam. In case robbers came to my house and they tied my hands and nothing I could have done about it. I'm not going to be chayiv mikar din. I'm mechayiv myself. I'm obligating myself. If so, then why should it be chayiv but just speech? There has to be a kinyan. Says the Gemara in Achinami. Omer Shmuel, you're right. B'shekonu miyodoi. B'shekonu miyodoi. In other words, we're talking here about a kinyan. There was an act of kinyan, whichever kinyan there was, kinyan. Flipping. They made a kinyan. They made a physical kinyan, a physical transaction that shows that this is not just speech. It's actually something obligating. Because if I come to you tomorrow and I say, I'm giving you $1,000, and we made a kinyan, a physical act that shows that I'm obligated, then it works. That's Shmuel's opinion. Rabbi Yochanan says, even if you say that there was no physical kinyan, there is still something here that that makes the person be chayiv, that makes the Shomer Socho be a shoyel, and give more money than he should have, or more in more cases. Which means this person is getting hano. Not everything is about, money. Sometimes hano, psychological enjoyment, psychological benefit is a lot. The kanafikle kolo, this guy has hano, the Shomer Chinam or Shomer Socho, by the way, there are two versions, that's becoming a shoyel, yeah. Nafikle kolo, there's a voice coming out. People now start talking about him. Good things. What do they say? The Inish Meimonahu is a loyal person, is a reliable person. You see that this person is reliable, right? And everybody knows that he is reliable because he's a shomer. Not only is a shomer, instead of a shomer chinam, he has the status of a shoyel. Tosfos explains in the previous sugya that the person people think he's a shoyel because he has the status of a shoyel. They say, wow, look, this guy was given the cow to plow with for free. He's a very reliable, loyal person. With that hano, with that benefit, Gomir u'mishaben nafshei. Gomir, he decides, he finalizes the business, u'mishaben nafshei, and he puts himself b'shibud, yeah, he's mishabed himself, he's really obligating himself to pay more than the regular sharmachinam, sharmasachor, and be able to shoyel. He's getting something. When you get something, you give something in return. You got the hano, you have a good name of a good, reliable guy. Therefore, in return, you give the bailim compensation even when you don't have to, which is the case of oines. Now we're going to bring another quote from the Mishnah. What does it mean? We said at the end of the Mishnah that conditions, how can conditions be made in halacha? We say any condition that could be done that can be fulfilled is a serious condition. If the condition cannot be fulfilled, then what happens? You stay with the ma'aseh, and the t'nai is erased. Yeah, that's a chiddush. In other words, if I say, if you fly to the moon, then you'll be my wife, then what would we say? Well, that's nonsense. The whole thing is just a whole load of shiyot. We say, no, she will be his wife. Yeah, she will be his wife, and the flying to the moon is kilu deleted. The same thing by matnal mashikosu b'toiro. Omarav Tavla, Omarav, yeah, Zu divrei Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema. What we just saw in the Mishnah, that an impossible t'nai, we delete the impossible t'nai, but we stay with the ma'aseh, the result stays regardless of the crazy t'nai. That is only the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema. Abel Chachomim say, Afal pi she'i efshar lelekaimoi b'soifoi, even though it's impossible to be mekayim, to fulfill the t'nai, at the end of the day, yeah, down the line, it will be impossible to be mekayim the t'nai. V'hitna olav mitchilosoi, yeah, you made the t'nai at the beginning on something that is definitely impossible to fulfill. T'nai kayim, the t'nai is kayim. What does it mean the t'nai is kayim? The t'nai is a good t'nai, and therefore, 99.9 of cases, yeah, the ma'aseh will just not happen. If I say, you are my wife, if you fly to the moon, and she's not an astronaut, yeah, and then I say that what happens? She's not my wife because she's not going to fly to the moon. And this is not what the Mishnah says. This is what Tanakama says. This is what Chachomim said. The Tanya. Oh, now we're going to see the Brisa, full length Brisa. Arei ze describing what we're talking about over here. Arei ze gitech al menashe tali larakia. This is your get. Yeah, a person gives his wife a get. Lo'aleinu, it came to that situation. Al menashe tali larakia. On condition you fly to Shamayim, no airplanes, yeah. The airport, you can't approach the airport, there are too many strikes and demonstrations there, you can't go up to Rakia. You're going up to Rakia, that's a condition, and then you'll be my ex-wife, you'll have a get. On condition that you go down to the Tehom, you're going to go down below the earth and survive. Yeah, you're going down to subterranean water. Yeah, nobody can get that down that deep. On condition that you swallow a stick that's 100 amma long, that's at 50 meters. Yeah. How could? Yeah, impossible. On condition that you're going to cross the ocean by walking on the ocean. Yeah, maybe in other religions they have that, not by us. Yeah. In other words, you're going to walk from, I don't know, from England to America, walking on the ocean. Interesting. So what do we say? Says the Brisa, unbelievable. Niskayim atnai. If somehow the t'nai would be fulfilled, arez a get, then she's megoreshes, then she's divorced. Yeah. If somehow she managed to, by the way, Tosfos says in, I think it's in Gittin, I saw this Tosfos yesterday, I don't remember where, I think in Gittin, Tosfos says, how can you say such a thing in this Niskayim atnai? The Tosfos says, by going up to Shamayim, she can fly to Shamayim with Shemes HaKadoshim. Let's say she's a big Baal Mekubeles, and she can mention Shemus, or maybe her father is some very choshuv Baba, and she can fly. In theory, 0.0.1, yeah, right. And she can go up to Shamayim, bevakasha, then she'll get the get. Then the get will be a real get. She fulfilled it now. She managed to walk on the sea with some kind of, I don't know, technology. Lo niskayim atnai, ain't a get. If the t'nai is not miskayim, that's 99.9 of the cases, not a get. which means that conceptually, the crazy Tanai is a serious Tanai, is an accepted Tanai, and therefore the Maisa won't be a Maisa. If I say you are not my wife if you fly to the moon and back in 2 minutes, yeah, impossible, then what? Then talk, it's not a Tanai. It's not a get, excuse me. The Tanai exists because it's crazy, right? So the Maisa is not there. I'm making it impossible for the wife to get divorced. Yeah, says the man, says Tanakama. Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema, no. Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema says, no, because get, this is a get. No, it's a get. Meaning, of course, she can't fly to the moon and she can't go down below and she can't swallow a stick of 100. However, precisely because it's crazy, yeah, and it's either because it's not like Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven, or maybe Stam Misvar, it's a crazy thing. I delete the Tnai and I only stay with a Maisa. I only stay with a Maisa. And now we're going to say the reason, besides Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven, which is maybe something, the main reason is going to be mentioned now. Omer Abida ben Tema, any condition that you are unable to fulfill at the end of the day, the hitna olav mitchilosoi, and you made it tnai right at the start, which means mitzad the order you're working right. We remember what we said about conditions. First of all, you have to make it tnai. If you make me an egg every day, then you'll be my wife. Not you're my wife if you make me an egg. Yeah. So the condition was made the right order. However, yeah, it's impossible to fulfill such a tnai. It's a crazy tnai. You fly to the moon and back. Eino ela kemafliga v'kosher. Mafliga means that person, when he makes a crazy tnai, the husband in this case, he's just making fun of her, he's poking fun. They're getting divorced, so they don't exactly love each other. And he's like trying to be mafliga b'dvorim, he's trying to be marchik to make her feel funny about it. That's all. Or maybe mislead her, make her feel funny, which is not a nice thing to do, maybe, that's true. But lemaisa, he's not really serious about the condition. And he made it the condition, he didn't mean that. Before we even get to Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven, he himself really did not mean that she should swallow a stick of 100 amos, right? And no such thing. And therefore the Tnai is not a Tnai. And we stick to the same concept as before. When a Tnai is not kosher, we delete the Tnai. But the other words stay. So the words that Harei ze gitech, it's a good get. And the Tnai is out the window, the Tnai flew to the sky. Omar Nachman Omar Rav Halochik Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema. Oh, Halochik Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema. Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema Oimer Heve Azka Namer. Nothing to do with us. That's a way to remember. Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema says that, yeah, those things we know Maseches Avos. And Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema also says that impossible Tnaim are just not Noim, and therefore the Maisa exists, and the Tnai is just as if it didn't say anything. That's the halacha. Omar Nachman bar Yitzchak Mesnisi Nami Daika. Our Mishnah is also meduyak. Our Mishnah also seems to be saying the same as Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema. Our Mishnah endorses Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema, the Ktani, because we say in the Mishnah, any condition that may be fulfilled, may come to realization at the end of the story, and you did the Tnai right from the beginning. This is your get if you not fly to the moon, if you make me an egg tomorrow after we're divorced, this is your get. Why not? It's very possible to make an egg. Why not? It's possible to fry an egg, very easy. And then the Tnai, Tnoi Kayam. It's a possible, feasible, technically, possibly Tnai, good Tnai. You did it the right order, Tnoi Kayam. From here we can be medayik, we can derive, we can actually eke out of that if the Tnai is impossible, then the Tnai is batel. The Tnai is not a Tnai, but the Ma'aser remains. Because that's always the rule in halacha. When a Tnai is possible, either halachically or technically, the Tnai is not a Tnai, the Ma'aser remains. You showed what you want. It's not enough to show my das. You have to go through the routine, through the mechanism of Tnai. And if you didn't, then no, then the Tnai is not there, and the Ma'aser stays, and she will be Megoreshes, and obviously she will not have to fly to the moon. Shmami no. Yesterday, Baruch asked a very, very good question. The question is that one of the conditions for a good condition, excuse the pun, yeah, one of the halachos regarding a good Tnai is what? You have to first of all say the tnai koidem lemaisa. You have to say, if you do so and so, then I'll be your partner. If you do so and so, then I'm shomer chinam, right? However, we see in the Brisa time and again the other way around. We see no. He says, "Aret mekudeshes li al minas so and so. Hare at megureshes. Hare zegitech." First of all, he mentioned the Maisa al minas. Yeah, that you do something logical. It's good. It looks like the wrong way around. It looks like from the Brisa that first there is a Maisa and then it's nai. So why does that work? That was your question. It's a very, very good question. And I discussed it yesterday with Mechavrusa, and the results are as follows. There are three answers. According to most Rishonim, the Loshen is not Meduyak. Hard to say, but the Brises were not careful in the way they phrased it. That's what they say. That's a mainstream opinion, and it's difficult to swallow, like 100 mea kan, but really, that's one answer. It's a good kasha. The Brises are not as Masudar as the Mishnayos, maybe Mishnayos too, whatever. Answer number two is by the Rambam. The Rambam says something very interesting. Rambam, I think, is the only one of the Rishonim that learns the whole sugya differently. Rambam says that when you made the Tnai before the Maisa before the Tnai, they're both good. You can say Harei Gitech and condition that you do so and so. What does it mean? The Mishnah said you have to have Tnai Kodem Lamaisa. Explains the Rambam, no. Let's say a person in Kiddushin, let's give a nicer, not Gerushin, Kiddushin. Person put the ring on his collar's finger, Aret Mekudeshesli, right? And she's Mekudeshes. And 1 second after that, Toch Kedei Dibur, because you know Toch Kedei Dibur can always change everything halachically, right? By davening, by everything, by Eidus. Toch Kedei Dibur, after the Maisa was done, after the ring is on her finger, or after the get was given, then he says, Almenas, so and so. That, says the Rambam, is what you cannot do. Get it? In other words, once the Maisa was physically done, even though it's Toch Kedei Dibur, you cannot do that. You have to make sure that everything, all the conditions are mentioned before the Maisa is done. But Lamaisa, in our case of the Brisa, it's very good with the Rambam. Because if you say, before you gave the get, you said, Harei Zeh Gitech al Menas, that you, I don't know, visit my mother tomorrow, something possible, then what? Then it's good. Because the get wasn't given. The ring wasn't given. Then you can do whatever you want. Only once the Maisa was done, then the Tanai cannot be fulfilled. That's how the Rambam learns it. So according to the Rambam, the Brises are actually very good. The Brises are Meduyak. There's a third answer, and okay, I'll mention the third answer because I promised. The third answer is, by Charusa, I don't remember who he quoted. The third answer is as follows. There's the difference between a Tanai that's to do with the future or Tanai that's to do with the present. Yeah, in other words, in Kiddushin, a person says, Haret Mukudeshes li, Al Manah she'en lechalai shel ksus v'oino. You are my wife, Mukudeshes. He's not talking about the future, right? He's talking about the present. Haret Mukudeshes li, and this Kiddushin, I'm not mechuyev shel ksus v'oino. So he's not talking about the future. When you talk about the future, you will make me an egg, and then you first speak about the future, make sure you know it's going to be in the future, and then you say that's my get. But if you talk about the present, they can also change the order. Okay. Oh, we're done with Tzorches Apoyalim. We're going to have now a new recording for the new Perek of to do with Ba'alav Imoy. We're going to see also questions in the chat now. And okay, goodbye for now, and stay with us for the next year, starting in very, very, very soon, of a Soicher Es Apoyalim. Okay.